Hi, my name's Steve Pointon, and I'm a kidney cancer patient and also a member of the management team at Action Kidney Cancer. Today, we wanted to bring a video to you to show the difference between kidney cancer and kidney disease and an awareness of what you need to be careful and looking for in the development of kidney disease following a kidney cancer diagnosis. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the founder of Kidney Cancer, Action Kidney Cancer, Rose Woodward, who's going to share a little bit of her story with us today. Hello, Rose.
Hello, Steve.
Hi. First of all, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your history with kidney cancer?
Yes, I can. Thanks very much for your introduction to me. So, firstly, it's fair to say that founded the Action Kidney Cancer charity as a volunteer group back in 2006 with Julia Black, who's also a member of our management team. And we founded it obviously because we identified a need for kidney cancer patients to have somewhere where they could find reliable information and share experiences with each other. Um, the apprenticeship that served to get me to that position was that I was diagnosed with kidney cancer back in 2002. A completely what's now called an incidental finding. I'd previously been very fit, never had any illness at all in my life, and I'd attended hospital for some gynecological problems. And thanks to a very astute radiographer, they identified a mass, as it was then called, on my left kidney. And that was picked up then on a CT scan and found out to be kidney cancer. So I underwent a radical left nephrectomy, which took away my kidney and my adrenal gland. And I then went through 5 years follow-up for suspected lung nodules, which thankfully turned out to be scar tissue. And that was really my start of a journey which continues right up to this very moment with Action Kidney Cancer and the team, including yourself and Julia and several other people with a passion for helping kidney cancer patients.
Sounds quite a journey, Rose. And what people will be interested to know, and the purpose of this video is that then developed into further complications with your kidney for you, hasn't it? So, when did you first realize that the remaining kidney was not working as well as it should?
Well, nobody had at that time had told me anything about the possibility of any future problems. I thought that having beaten, in my words, the kidney cancer, that as long as I kept myself reasonably healthy, I was going to enjoy a full life. But unfortunately, I was diagnosed with breast cancer later on in 2012. And then again, I had several recurrences of breast cancer in 2018. And that meant that I went through quite a lot of surgeries. And after my final breast cancer surgery, which was a large operation, I had a really quite a catastrophic collapse in my kidney function. And that was the start of the function really going on to a downward trend. But until then, I had no indication that my kidney function was going to be a problem, or that I was going to end up in the serious position that I've ended up in.
So, what happened next when you found out that there was a problem with your kidney function? What happened next?
Well, I was told by the hospital where I had the breast cancer surgery that this was a problem for me, and I was likely to come out of the surgery in a worse condition. But I had no option really but to go ahead. So when I left the hospital, they referred me back to Cornwall, where I live, and I was taken under the care of the nephrology department in Truro in Cornwall. And that was when I started on a routine of almost monthly renal blood being taken and analysed, and I began to read more about this myself and understand the difficult position I was in, which was pretty dire in that it's not a reversible condition once you've started, and the trend is always going to be loss of function, and of course, we're getting older as well, so that was a double whammy.
You mentioned there that the difficulties that it caused. What changes did kidney failure make to your life, Rose?
Um, well. I fought against it for a long time. It takes away a lot of energy. There are certain foods that you have to be careful about. It creates um, a lot of psychological problems because you know where you're heading, and you know what's at the end of it. And I'm afraid at the end of it, um, you with the ultimate kidney failure, then you need to go on dialysis, which I have to say is one of the most awful treatments that I've ever been on. Quite aside from the kidney and the breast cancer surgeries, dialysis. If you can avoid dialysis, this is the most important issue for many people. I think they don't realise quite how traumatic this treatment is. Loss of life, really, in terms of having to go to the hospital 3 or 4 times a week for a day at a time, effectively. But I'm afraid there were no symptoms to my kidney function loss that I could have put my finger on. It needed to be found out, by somebody taking bloods and analysing the bloods and finding that the levels in my blood were, not at it within the scales that they needed to be, and it really is a trip to the doctors to get that done and to identify that.
So, to sum up, really, I guess, what advice would you give to other patients who may have had their kidney removed or are going through kidney cancer treatment at the moment, and maybe the ones who are thinking they're in the same situation as you, Rose, of I'm okay, I've beaten this now. What would you say to them?
I'd say that really, when I look back, I realized that I was given an incredible chance, on 2 occasions, really, or 2 chances. Then one, being able to come through the kidney cancer and not get to a metastatic state, and two, to have the recourse to a fantastic hospital in London to deal with my breast cancer issues. So having been given those 2 chances, I had no idea that this kidney failure and dialysis and transplant were sitting there in the background. If you do anything at all once you come out of your nephrectomy, it is to adopt the healthiest possible lifestyle imaginable. If you want to maintain that, if you're anywhere near being diabetic or pre-diabetic, this is another issue that can predispose you towards kidney failure. If you have high blood pressure, yet again, that's another indicator. And all of these point you towards a vulnerable position, being in a vulnerable position for ultimate kidney failure. By altering diet and trying to adopt a low protein diet. Protein is a compound which is metabolized in the kidney, and if the kidney cannot cope with a high protein diet, it will dispense the surplus protein, if you like, into your urine, and that is another indicator that your kidneys aren't working as well as they could. Certain foods are high in potassium. Potassium is another problem for people who are on a trajectory of kidney loss of kidney function. And banana. Well, the three high potassium foods to steer clear of are bananas, tomatoes, and potatoes. But generally, to watch your diet. Obviously, smoking is a huge no-no. Um, uh, Try and cut down on alcohol, spirits especially, and just maintain a healthy, active lifestyle. Try and keep your muscles and everything working as well as you possibly can, and look upon it as you've got a second chance. And if you don't grasp that second chance, then kidney failure and what comes after it could be seen as being even worse than the initial stages of kidney cancer.
Well, that's been really helpful, Rose. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us patients today and letting us know how it's been for you and what we should be careful of. So, on behalf of Action Kidney Cancer and all the patients, thank you very much.
Oh, that's kind of you, Steve. And if anybody is at all worried about their own situation, then I'm here sometimes at the end of the Action Kidney Cancer helpline, or you can get hold of me via an email, and happy to talk to anybody about it and try and set them on the right path.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your time, Rose.
Thank you so much, Steve. Bye.